Hey, my name is Darius, and I want to talk about the truth about marketing your small indie game, specifically Survivor Bias. So today you're going to learn a marketing tip specifically designed for small indie game devs who don't have fans and don't have customers and are not having any success marketing their game. And what you'll learn is that most of the game marketing strategies and techniques you often see and learn from are usually produced by studios that already have thousands or even millions of customers. And these studios have at least, 2 or 3 games in their catalog that players are familiar with, right? So it's only natural that an indie dev with a small team and a small budget try to learn, these same techniques, these same successful, strategies that big companies or studios use, right? So for example, a small indie dev will follow and do all the right marketing techniques. So for instance, they'll post content on Reddit, Twitter, and TikTok. They'll make videos on YouTube. They'll create a devlog. They'll make a game trailer. They'll have a website with an email newsletter. They'll contact YouTubers and Twitch streamers. They'll give out, keys to game journalists, and they'll put up a professional Steam page, and they might even win, some awards. But despite all this effort, they still don't succeed in getting attention. Wish lists don't go up. The game launch could be a failure, and they blame themselves because they think they suck at marketing, or they think that their game is too niche. But here's where the survivor bias kicks in. Marketing a game made from a studio that already has customers is very different from marketing a game that is made by a small indie team that nobody knows about or cares about yet, right? So in other words, what works for one subgroup doesn't mean it'll work for the entire group. So today I want to show you exactly what to do if you want to grow your game company, find new players, and have a successful game launch if you are a very small game dev studio. All right, so here's what you need to know and what to do. So the first thing I want to talk about is forget about marketing techniques, and I want you to focus on building relationships with like-minded people. So again, first off, when nobody knows about you or likes you or cares about you yet, forget about marketing techniques and strategies, forget about branding, forget about trying to go rock viral, and forget about contacting YouTubers, forget about giving out game keys to game journalists, and forget about making a game trailer, forget about posting on social media. And of course, yes, these are all very important things, techniques you need to do, but not right now. Right now, let's focus on one single word, and that is build. So all you need to worry about right now is trying to build connections with weird, creative, innovative people who think and feel like you, right? And chances are that you're building a niche small indie game is because you don't want to do what AAA companies do, right? You don't want to copy whatever everyone else is doing, right? So what I'm trying to say is that instead of thinking as YouTubers and Twitch streamers and journalists as your target, these aren't people like you, right? These people only care about creating content for views. And yeah, if your game gets them more views, then sure, they'll talk about you, but that's where their passion stops. And same with people scrolling on social media or on TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, and watching YouTube. These people aren't really like you. These people only care about being entertained and getting that dopamine fix. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a large group of people exactly like you who want to play a game you're making, and these people are they are looking for you. But the trick is, how do you get in front of these people, right? So let's keep going, and I'll show you exactly how to find these players who are looking for you, and I'll give you a step-by-step action plan showing you exactly what to do. So this part I call look for players looking for you. So in a moment, I'll show you exactly what to do to find your core target. But to help you understand how this technique works, let me share a quick story about how I successfully managed to make a living basically doing creative, weird, innovative things by figuring out how to look for customers who were looking for me. So way back in 2005, I was about 23, 24. I had a cool idea, and so my idea was to scan people's old photos and slides into digital. And because scanning sucked back then, I would manually fix those scans in Photoshop. And remember, back in 2005, there was no Dropbox, so it was really hard to kind of share, personally share your digital files with other people. So I created a file sharing server using PHP, so my customers can easily share their digital images with each other, right? So that was my core product. But the problem was I had no connections, nobody knew me, I had no money to market or even to brand. So what I did was I went on Kijiji and Craigslist, and I just put out a simple ad, and I got my first couple customers, and things kind of started rolling from there. But then eventually, I still remember this, I got one customer who was a dentist, and because I did a good job archiving his old film, he told his business friends who also needed my service. And because this dentist was well connected, I started getting a lot of local business in Calgary, right? So I started my business really picked up just from that customer. So what I'm trying to say is, thanks to this well-connected dentist, word of mouth snowballed, and I started landing, the biggest brands and organizations in Canada. And it wasn't my marketing, it wasn't my branding. It all started with, connecting with one person who was way more connected than me. And then I did it again, right? I took this concept of don't market, focus on building relationships first, and I successfully built another, startup, howtoscan.ca. And then fast forward in 2019, I did it for a third time where I drew game maps for game studios. And I'll link my ArtStation below if you want to check out my maps. So the reason I'm telling you all this is not to show off, but to show you that this technique works. Because when you're small and nobody knows about you, there's a very different strategy you need to take before you start doing all these marketing techniques that you often hear about. And this technique works because when you look for like-minded people, and you're creating something that like-minded people love, they will want to become part of that creation. They will want to, help you share it, and they want to help you, spread what you're doing with other people, right? And chances are one of those people who love your game will be way more connected than you, and they will share your game with someone else who is, well connected. And this word of mouth will snowball, and now next thing you know, your game is on, on YouTubers and streamers that you never even contacted, right? It wasn't you that went out, it was other people that helped you spread your game for you, right? So how do you exactly do this? How do you build relationships with like-minded people so, you find that one person who is well connected and they help you spread word of mouth? All right, let's get into it. Let's do the step-by-step action plan. Look for players looking for you. To connect with people, you gotta know what you want and who you are. You really need to put yourself first, and you need to clearly define who you are and what your game is, and more importantly, what game is not, right? Because if we try to be everything to everybody, we just end up being nobody. But don't get me wrong. If you become a huge success and your studio has thousands or millions of fans, then yes, you want to be everything to everybody because that's how you grab attention to the masses. But not right now. Right now, when you're still small, you need to focus on building those relationships first. And again, the mantra is look for people that are already looking for you. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with step one, and that is, what problem is your game solving in your genre? So the best way I know to connect with people, with like-minded people, and find people that are already looking for you is try to figure out exactly what problem they're trying to solve. Why? Well, because often people are more motivated to solve problems than they are to, try to gain an advantage. Not always, but in my experience, people are more motivated to go out and, fix problems. And most people who are trying to solve a problem are actively, looking to solve those problems. So essentially, they are looking for you, right? So to help you connect with your core target, answer these questions, and I'll have the questions below in the description. I also have it in my blog, so you can just copy and paste them if you want to help you answer them better. So anyway, here's the questions. So the first question is, what are players complaining most about in your genre? Okay, next question is, what do you find frustrating about your genre? Okay, next question is, how is your game trying to solve those frustrations? Next, what new features are you adding that aren't usually found in your genre? Okay, next, what tropes in your genre are you trying to challenge and overcome? All right, next question is, how are you doing something totally opposite in your genre? So for example, while most medieval RPG games are, high fantasy or fantasy based, Kingdom Come Deliverance did the total opposite. They had no fantasy and in their medieval RPG game, right? And so basically, how are you trying to rebel in your genre? And the last question is, what do you hate that AAA games do that hurt, your genre? So this step is important because, again, it's all about you, and it's trying to help you define exactly who you are and how your game fits in your genre. And again, this is important because people who want to solve a problem are out actively looking for a solution. So if you can describe the problem that players are having right now, and then talk about how your game is that, solution to that problem, then you'll attract, like-minded people. Okay, step two is create content. And I know how much you love putting out content that nobody watches and nobody engages with, right? Well, anyway, I'm kind of joking, but there is a way to create content that will resonate with people. So let me explain how to do that. Okay, remember, you're not marketing, you're not trying to get your name out there. You are sharing what you love, your game, your passion, your genre, and your passion to make a cool game that is innovative and does something, interesting in your genre, right? So then in step number two is to start creating content talking about your passion. If you're excited about your cool game, then it doesn't really feel like you're marketing. It doesn't feel like you're putting out content that is, trying to, sell or, try to get people to buy something, right? You're creating this content basically as a way to express your feelings about your game, right? But you can't just talk about what you want to talk about. You also have to consider what your audience wants too. So you got to kind of put those two together. And that's why in step one, I had you answer all those questions, because once you understand clearly what problems your players have in your genre and how your game, is a solution to those problems, then you can start creating content that is interesting and that will stand out. And it doesn't matter where you post, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, or your own blog. The platform doesn't matter. What matters is that you're creating content that strikes a chord with like-minded people. So again, it doesn't matter where you put it, right? Because this authentic, passionate content will always rise to the top, and people are always yearning to find content that resonates with them, and they will find you. All right, step number 3 is be consistent and create content at least once a week. So if you listen to a lot of marketing gurus, they will tell you, that, for example, follow this formula and in 30 days you'll get, 10,000 wish lists. The thing is that these gurus are essentially lying, because these marketers know that you and I always want something that is quick, easy, and fast, right? That's just human nature. But in my experience, and probably in your experience, success moves slowly, and getting good results often takes time, and being resilient, patient, and consistent is the key to success, not fast, easy, and quick. So make a commitment to be consistent. And I'm not talking about grinding. It's all about taking small steps, small increments, and over time these actions will add up. So in this step, I want you to pick a day out of the week where you will commit to and post your content about your game, about your passion, right? And remember, focus on problems in your genre and how your game is fixing those problems, because people with problems are out actively looking for solutions. Okay, one more last thing, and here's your action plan right now. So my goal here isn't to spout out, marketing theories or to entertain you with, knowledge. My goal here is to get you off your ass and start practicing what you're just learning, right? So do this right now. It'll only take 10 minutes. Open a Google document, and those questions that I had, in step 1, answer them. And again, they're in the description below. Just copy and paste them into a Google document and answer them, or you can find them in my blog. And the trick is here, don't worry about how you answer the questions, because sometimes you might get stuck on them, right? Just take 10 minutes and answer them as fast as you can. And at the end of the session, you'll see, I promise that your brain will start, brainstorming content, and you'll come up with some good ideas about, content that will resonate with like-minded people, and you kind of move away from that, salesy or marketing stuff that a lot of, indie devs kind of hate doing, right? And as a bonus, I recommend that you answer these questions once a week before you post anything, because every time you answer these questions, you'll come up with something brand new that you can talk about. And remember, don't get discouraged, because it takes time. It's not easy. There's no instant formula. There's no magic formula in marketing your game. It takes work and it takes time, right, to build up. So try to figure out what the problems your players are having in your genre, and try to see how your game can solve those problems, and talk about that, right? And if you're still stuck, I invite you to email me or contact me in my Discord, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, my name is Darius. Take care and good luck marketing your game. See ya.